Well, it's very much a blue sky following a storm, a perfect time to go and check out my cuttings. Look at the moon up there. Well, my little garden friends are enjoying the fat balls, so I thought it was time to go out myself and see what was going on. As you can see, I've been busy pruning this elder, and if you want to have elderberries for making wine or compotes or various jams, or elderflowers for drinks, and now's the time to look after your elder. Basically, I've pruned out a lot of crossing branches. These obviously are crossing, they should be pruned out, and there's the fruits of my labour down there. Here we have a cutting taken from the same elder I've pruned, and it's a nice cut which is well below a bud. Okay, and I can dip that into root hormone powder. And with wilder trees like elder, I find they'll take a longer cutting, so you get a more vigorous plant. This could make 2 or 3 cuttings, and you basically just need to cut it above a bud, but make a 45-degree angle cut so that rain can wash off it. These do tend to be much more successful than cultivated varieties. Wild stuff is far tougher and more resilient. In fact, elder roots itself all over my garden, but you know, that's how you do your cut. This tree is a red currant bush, not edible by humans but loved by birds, and you can hear them chirping away. Again, it's a good time to prune it this year. Here we have a cutting taken from red currant. You can strip off the side branches like this one here and above, and just leave lots of buds on the side, and it doesn't need the leaves. And basically, as you can see, it's all ready. Even there's your buds there, and again, these are successful and will take cutting well. I've used these extender loppers from Wilco to cut my elder tree, and I'll also be using it to cut lots of others which need pruning, like the one I've just showed you, the red currant. This is the elder tree after its first prune. I might take a few more branches off if they're crossing. And the idea is to open it up and try and stop the branches from crossing too much. I'll leave some in because birds use it to shelter and they even nest in there. Here we have 2 elder tree cuttings just put in. And these are next to a few other things I'm having a go at, some passion flower, but I'm also growing these indoors, the passion flower. My successful cuttings seem to be bay tree. These have definitely taken. Obviously wilder things such as black currant. One of my thornless blackberries has taken. That's a cutting I took. I did 3. Perhaps some of the others have taken, but this one definitely seems to be thriving. With this beautiful wild rock rose, you can see the buds point upwards. That's how you can tell which way up and down is on the cutting. And there's a bud just coming up on my right there. Okay. Once you've got your cuttings, then trim off any side branches like these ones using your secateurs. You can always dip your secateurs in a bit of milk to sterilise them in between. And so I'll take a lot of these side, because that's where I want the roots to come out, dip them in the root hormone powder. Try and make a cut so that there's no canker, so choose nice clean bits. I use, for wild ones, I use longer sections. You can use 12 inches, even longer, so this can make 2 cuttings and get them into your compost. Put a bit of plastic bag over them, make sure there's some way that they don't get too damp, check for mould, and away you go. Sometimes with these wild ones you don't even need to use a plastic bag. You only need to dip the cut end in the rooting powder, not the sides of the branch, so brush off anything off the sides. So basically I put it into my hormone powder, okay, it'll come out and you can see there it is, that you only need the bit on the end, not on the sides, to encourage roots to develop. And I'll put this now into the pot. You can put a plastic bag over the pot as well to help to warm it up. So there you go, dust it off and in it goes. following advice from Brian from Allotment Life, follow his channel, I'm doing the pyracantha. So thanks Brian, cheers for that tip on the pyracantha and the time to do that. I love these spiky thorny bushes, and so do the birds and the beautiful berries. I divided the roots on this dill, it's gone into seed, so I'm going to collect some of those seeds as well and dry them out, see if we can grow them from seed. Lovely flavour, but that's the original parent plant, this one here, and I just divided the roots. This is the time of year for that. There it is there. This is my honeyberry. It was too hot for the flowers in the great drought, but it's now gone into bud. You could also take cuttings off that. And next to that we've got here is cuttings I've taken from my pear trees with hormone rooting powder. Don't know if they'll work. I mean, pears might need to graft them. I'll get back to you, see if they actually take, see if they root over winter. You can put a plastic bag over this, but at the moment it's okay, we've got sunshine. Next to my pear tree cuttings I've got cuttings that I've taken from my garden of figs, and this one's taken very well, so figs obviously do very well on cuttings using the root hormone powder. You can see that there's new growth on this one, and I've pinched out the leaders as advised by various people who know about these fig trees, so I'm learning from them, so eventually I hope to grow my own fig. Here we have a beautiful climbing wild rose, rock rose, very scented, and it's sort of, I got it as a very sort of cheap plant on one of the discount stores, Poundland I think. I've tried cuttings, and actually taking cuttings from it, this is the first time I've tried it in water, and just in water with a tiny bit of plant food. I change it every week. Look at the roots on that. So I've taken a number of cuttings on these because it's so scented and beautiful. I'm going to bring some of it down to the allotment. It's good for a border because you can train it along. But rock rose, certainly worth taking your cuttings now. Look at the roots. My little garden friends love coming here because we've got plenty of food for them to eat, and most of the garden's given over to the wildlife.